Hello, everyone. Sorry for the delay.
Oh, yeah, no kidding.
All right. 7:09, I'd like to call our meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic. I'll accept the motion to approve the agenda.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Thank you, Dr. Pomponio.
Support.
Supported by Mr. Green. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We have an agenda. Brings us to item E, citizens' comments. This is the part that is your time. You can address the podium. Out of respect to the board members in the audience, please stay at the podium so audio can be heard. You get up to 3 minutes. And it is what it says. It's a comment or a statement. It's not a question. If you do have specific questions, please call the district office and speak to Sharon, or if you reach out to us, we'll get back to you as soon as we can. But are there any citizens that have filled out paperwork prior? We have a couple. Ms. Schultz, if you'll address the, or approach the podium there and just give your name, your address, please. And then we'll start the clock. Thank you so much.
Good evening. My name is Billy Schultz. One, we do not want vaccine clinics or vaccine mandates in our schools. Medical decisions need to be left up to the parents and legal guardian of the minor child. The school boards and governments do not have the right to make medical decisions on our children. If these clinics come to our children's schools or the clinic mobiles, I will end up having to pull my children out of the school district and homeschool them. Unmask our kids. Sending our children with or without masks needs to be up to the parents and the legal guardians of our minor children. I went to my local school that is actually across the street from my home. There are 42 masks currently sitting on our school playground, around our school, and there is one mask sitting in my front yard right now. How is that healthy? If these masks are so awful, why don't we have a biohazard bucket, and why are we not cleaning them up? We need to stop the unnecessary quarantines of healthy children. 99% of the quarantined children do not become positive. The courts are finding these quarantines unlawful. There has been 15 cases here in Michigan, one so far in courts. 380.10, Rights of Parents and Legal Guardians, Duties of Public Schools, Section 10. It is a natural, fundamental right of parents and legal guardians to determine and direct the care, teaching, and education of our children. The public schools of the state serve the needs of the peoples by cooperating with the people's parents and legal guardians to develop the people's capabilities and vocal skills in the safe and positive environment. I am going to ask our board today to consider the resolution of the Wayne County Health Department and Office of the Governor of the State of Michigan of October 26, 2021. We have already 2 school districts. One has already approved it. Oxford District has voted last week or a couple weeks ago and accepted it. Grosse Pointe Public School System accepted this resolution yesterday, and they will be voting on it in 2 weeks. I would like our board here to consider this resolution, and that is it.
Thank you, Ms. Schultz. Next up, Mr. Robert Pulaski.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Robert Pulowski. I live at 12757 Chestnut Street in Southgate, Michigan. First thing I'd like to start off with is transportation. Currently, we are under contract with Dean Transportation that has ran our transportation in this district for, I would say, about 3-4 years now. First off, it was Trinity, then it was Dean. I heard a little bird from one of the board members and some teachers regarding the superintendent looking into getting some new buses. In regards to that, I'd love to see some new buses, but I also would like to see some new transportation opportunities within this district. Here's one for you, Smart Flex. Smart Flex is a rideshare service that has been introduced in Dearborn, Hall Road, and Troy, all across the Metro Detroit region. I have been in conversations with Smart's Deputy General Manager Robert Kramer and Tony Vincent, Director of Transportation down in Detroit, Michigan. They are on board of providing transportation to students, tying in an app for Smart Flex students, which means they will get free rides to and from school and home with no cost at all as long as they provide ID. It is integrated with an app, and the driver is usually there within 8 to 10 minutes, depending on what rush hour it is. That right there will give more students opportunities to get to school and back without having to worry about a crowded bus in the morning, and as well as a crowded school bus as well. Or, instead of Smart Flex, there is Smart Connector. They have been providing service around here since as long as I can remember. They provide service within Connector, with seniors, people with disabilities, and you name it. They take you from school to work, to the grocery store, everywhere. I see them all around town, and they also have community transit buses as well. If we could tie that in with the school district to provide students a connection there, that will also give them more options as well. I'd like to see more transportation options within this district, and maybe we can be the first to start something that none other district can do in the Metro Detroit area at the moment. That's something that I would like to consider this board. Couple things I'd like to put on note is the trunk or treat event. It was a big success. Thank you to Mr. Green for the shout out last meeting. I like to see our community get together after a long pandemic, especially our teachers, our students, as well as our board members. If anyone was there on Saturday, you saw the assistant manager in a Mortal Kombat costume walking up and down Eureka Road. So we had a big crowd that day, and I know Billy was there, so thank you to her for being there. We would like to keep up this partnership with the district to do more events, partnering with the community to get together and have these in-person events. We have one event planned hopefully in the month of January, which is a skating party, which will have middle school and high school to get in for free. The assistant manager will be paying for it. It is something that I'd like to see. We get more partnerships with the district to partner up with the Burger King to bring more ideas like this. And the last thing, I want to make this really short. I did stop by the Anderson High School new site where the pool is going up. It is well done. The progress is going well, and I'd like to give big thanks to Rob over here for all the work they've done. But really well done, and thank you to Granger Construction Company. But thank you for the time and
Thank you.
Thank
opportunity to speak.
you.
All right, takes us to item F, presentations. We have a budget presentation for 2021-22 by our Finance Director, Barb Wilson. Barb? Board members, you can follow along with the packet in front of you.
A little bit light. Does it take up just this one light? Is it darkening?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so, I have given you the 2021-22 proposed amended budgets. General Operating Fund, Special Education Fund, Food Service Fund, Community Services Fund, and the Student School Activity Fund. Operating budget that was presented on June 8th, 2021. Currently, our audited FY 2021 fund balance is $6,752,000. The FY '22 foundation allowance has increased to $8,700 per pupil, and the increase to our budgeted student count is $3,203 students, and this is a 24 student increase to the fall 2020 count. A transfer of one-time facility and transportation cost savings of $1.5 million is in this budget. These savings were achieved by teaching remotely for the first semester of 2020-2021. Estimated labor cost increases adjusting to our worker shortages such as food service, substitute teaching, and custodial. Added positions are in this budget and software funded through ESSER, grant, and general funds to handle post-pandemic recovery systems and bond work, including student behavior support, Atlas staffing, maintenance, administrative assistant, central enrollment, data management, GSRP, athletic coordinator, social workers, district nurse, payroll consultant time increase, and an Asher student services coordinator. There is funding for an assistant superintendent, new annual supply budgets for technology, curriculum, Anderson High School and Davidson Middle School athletic teams, the band, and itinerant special education staff such as social workers. Supplemental social studies software and approved ELA curriculum extensions, PPE such as disposable masks, disinfectant, and water filling stations in all schools. And with this budget amendment, ESSER 2 and 12% of ESSER 3 funds have been budgeted. Enhancement funds for athletics, maintenance, and curriculum have been budgeted. And the proposed general fund balance of FY '22 is estimated to be 11.6% of the FY '21 expenditures in accordance with board policy. So, starting with the general operating fund, this slide shows our revenue and the increases of $5,269,514 over the original budget. The local sources primarily were derived from our tax levy. The millage rates are the same, 18 mills and the 5.85 for the debt fund, but we've had an increase in the value, housing value, property value. So we have gained a couple $100,000 here. And within the state sources are the grants. We have 310, 31A, ESSER included that were not at these dollar amounts in the original budget. The federal sources are, the ESSER was federal, and then we have, primarily that was it. It was the ESSER 2 and ESSER 3 increases over the original budget. And the other sources, that is exactly re-awarding of the COSA grant for $112,000 from the county. Moving into the expenditures, I'm showing for basic instruction, which are all of our instructional accounts through the high school, summer school, preschool, added needs, which would be special ed and voc ed, and adult and community education. The total there is a decrease in added needs of $353,826. Total basic programs have increased $2,415,000. And overall total instruction is $1,575,169 more. Under support and pupil services, we have an increase budgeted here over the original budget of $650,451. The support instructional staff, we have $1,023,611 increase. And that was primarily due to some movement of former positions in other function codes. Under general administration, we have $90,076 increase. In school administration, about $98,444. Business administration, $67,276. And I can see four. And within the operation and maintenance, I just want to indicate our PPE on the ESSER grants is in that section. Pupil transportation is just a small decrease of $359. Central services, decrease of $203,810. And athletics, an additional $102,820. Community service function code is a decrease of $12,829, and facility improvements is an increase of $294,149, and that would be ESSER $2. The debt service function is decreased by $50,000, and we have $1,500,000 transfers out and $4,175 transferred in. So the grand total, adjustment to the grand total of expenditures is $5,364,257. And if you see the projected increase decrease over the original budget is a net of $94,743 more in expenditures. The effect on our projected cumulative balance is at the end of the year, I am expecting to see $4,534,520. Beacon Day treatment, I've listed out local sources, revenue again, and Beacon is got to have revenue equal expenditures, so there is never a fund balance for it. So there's a slight change due to some staffing that we've had losses at Beacon. But they're working to fill those positions at this time. The expenditures at Beacon, we also have an adjustment of $30,833 over the original budget. Small change in basic instruction, $4,402,477. Support and pupil services, $1,713,656 is the current budget, which is not a change from the original. The same with support instructional staff. There's no change there at this time, or under school administration. Keeping in mind, we are working on a budget revision right now. Our first revision for 21-22 is due at the end of the week. Business services, a slight decrease of $3,000. No change to operations and maintenance, that's our rent. And pupil transportation, a decrease of $592 at this time. And the capital outlay is a special grant that we got from Wayne Risa for capital projects. And we're expecting the same amount, $300,000, to be transferred to the general fund for indirect costs at the end of the year. So this slide shows the total revenues equal the total expenses and some changes, and we have increased revenue of $1,470,991 projected. So that works out to about $260,000 more. That increase is largely from the meal reimbursement program. And, yeah. Wages, I'm showing an increase in expenditures budgeted at $25,000 more for $366,570, and also an increase to fringe benefits and purchase services and food. So all across the board, he's got a little bit higher expenses in food service. Okay, I was afraid of that. I can't scroll. Oopsie, what did I do? This. All right, this is not letting me scroll. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right, I guess in the presentation mode, it won't let me scroll down, and that overlapped my slide. Okay. Food service, there we go. Thanks. I have this is not. I'm trying to move this slide up and it's bouncing to the next one. See?
So which one do you want over here?
I want this one,
This one? So what you can say is,
but it's going off of here, so I want to scroll. There we go. I got it, but thank you.
okay, I see. what you
In the
mean.
presentation mode, it won't let me do it.
Right, because it's going off the presentation.
Yeah, I didn't catch that.
Okay.
All right.
You might be able to fix
All right. It's okay, Nick. I got, if it will show, I got the whole thing here. Well, I can't put it back in the presentation mode. It'll chop it off.
that. Yeah, but it should still at least show something on this screen.
Is it, what happened?
I don't know.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention to that. All right, so sorry.
There it is.
Thank you. I lost my screen. Okay, so going back to food service, we're expecting at the end of the year to have $61,865 transferred to the general fund for our indirect cost. That brings total expenses for food service to $1,392,417, and netted against the total revenue of $1,470,991. I'm expecting to see $78,574 added to their fund balance, which would bring them to $399,402. We currently are over. There's a limit to what you can carry over in a formula that's calculated when you file your financial information data, the FID. And we were $13,000 that we need to spend down during this year. And so looking at this budget, I'm thinking he's going to have to, replace some things like equipment or anything that is a bigger ticket item to spend down. It's kind of the opposite situation to be in. Okay. Community services revenue would include latchkey, preschool, and enrichment. And our revenues are increased by about $19,232, and that is primarily from local sources, which is the tuition that we take in. There is a $38,000 increase to federal sources for a grant that the director is applying for. I'm gonna do that again. Okay. All right, so latchkey. totals are $191,139 in total, which is an increase in expenditures of $9,671. And then the enrichment is total expenses of $59,561, which is an increase of $64.39. And the combination between the two, all of the community service fund is $19,232, which leaves no transfer to the general fund, and it nets to a 0 projected cumulative balance, as they didn't have a balance at the beginning of the year either. And then last is the student school activity fund. There is no change here at this time. I'm still projecting the revenue to be the same of $88,850 and the expenditures to be $63,050 with a balance of $298,425. That's it.
Are there any questions?
Yeah, I have a few. The first one, for funding for an assistant superintendent, we're budgeting that money in, and do we have that's set up? And when are we expected to?
We don't have it set up yet. We just, we're building the budget for it. Just so
Okay.
that, at the time that it does happen, we know we have that there.
Okay.
If we don't use that, then we don't use it.
Okay. And the second thing is for the Beacon Transportation, it is $592. Is that because it's a grant that's covering that?
That was transportation for CBI trips, which they didn't take any last year
okay.
because of COVID. So I have removed that for this year for the time being. We're going to, like I said, we're working on a revision that's due to the county. So I'll find out in the next week whether or not they plan to start up with travels again.
Okay. And the third thing is the enhancement funds for athletics, maintenance, and curriculum. I know we established a budget for that. Is it the same thing every year for the millage? Okay. And do they have a tracking of what they're spending on that, and is it logged into the budget?
We have, each year, we have a separate cost center.
Okay.
And it indicates in a particular year what the enhancement funds were spent on.
Oh, good. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Mr. Craig, one quick one.
The fund balance for food service, that's intended to be spent back on the program, right? Like
Yes.
that's why the cap is there, is they're supposed to reinvest that back into,
Correct. Correct. But like, for example, for so many years, they didn't have much money, and he's had so much in repair on ovens and refrigerators. And with this excess balance, it would probably be a wise move to replace some of that equipment that has constant repair bills coming in.
right?
So, and the other thing that they could do with it is they could look at the food that's being purchased, and they could elevate, based on, and I don't know what that food what the food requirements are, but within that, I'm understanding that there is different levels of food, and if you have additional money, they can go for higher cost, if they can get it. Right
Right,
now,
yeah,
they're
that's-
struggling,
Right.
trying to, right, and they're paying a bit more.
Yeah, but we do know that Mr. Rodriguez is cycling that money back
Yeah,
pretty regularly for improvements.
right, and yeah, that's what I thought the whole point of that, the fund balance in there was to reinvest back into
Yes.
buying and
Would be in the local revenue section.
So local sources?
Yes.
Okay.
And I don't think we've received anything yet. He bills, I believe, at the end of the month. And, in fact, I can check up on that for you and let you know when he's expecting to receive the first payments.
All right, thank you.
Welcome. Anything else?
All right. That's it. Thank you very much, Barb. Appreciate it.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I don't know if I turned it off.
All right, that takes us to item G, Superintendent update.
Yes, I'd like to say a couple words. First, congratulations to our Southgate Anderson Marching Band, who performed at States this last weekend and placed fourth in the state in their division. We're exceptionally proud of this program, as we are all of our students and all of our programs. We will have an opportunity in the near future at a board meeting to recognize them more formally. But that is a tremendous accomplishment when we see our Titans at our state championships. It's exciting. Also, I want to make sure that everyone knows, or at least in our elementaries, that our playground installations are going to begin on Monday, next Monday. So we ask that all of our families are patient with us, and their kids are patient with us, as some of the areas are off limits for a short period of time, and there's alternatives for play during that period of time. So that's all scheduled to start as early as Monday, November 15th. So you should see a lot of activity, and that is at every single school. Some new form of a playground or equipment is going in. So exciting weeks ahead. So stay tuned and just be aware of what's going on. So that's all for today.
Thank you. And I would imagine there's not a finance update, as we just heard from you. Okay. Move to item I, consent agenda, which consists of minutes from the October 26, 2021 closed session and a regular board meeting, HR update, and the disbursements for October 2021.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you, Dr. Paponio. Support. Supported by Treasurer Craig. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And then we're heading into our action part of the agenda here. First is the approval of the 2021-2022 amended budget. You presenting anything with that, or?
No,
Okay.
that's adequately presented.
All right. So you all heard and asked your questions, and at this time, we'll take a motion to approve that amended budget.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2021-2022 amended budget.
Thank you, Dr. Paponio.
Support.
Supported by Mr. Green. Any further discussion on this item? No? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up is the approval of the Bid Pack 4 award. And go ahead, Rob, if you're going to be presenting that tonight.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry for my little sidekicks here today. They had joined me on a last-minute change in plans. So today, really, I want to introduce Gary Kent. He's a senior consultant with Plant Moran Cressa. He came on board with this program in the springtime. Really spent the summer as things started ramping up, as we got into construction activities and going through with design for next summer's work. Get involved with the program more and more throughout the course of the summer, and really starting to take a lead on this program and getting involved with it. So today I wanted to introduce you to Gary and let him present the award recommendation for the Bid Pack 4 here today.
Thanks, Rob. I'm sidekick number 3 today, so. Bid Pack 4 for the the branding signage over at Anderson. Essentially, we went out to bid for 4 vendors. We got responses back from 3 of them. Essentially, in this scope, it entails 2 internally illuminated STA logo signs that are going to be going on the exterior of Anderson High School. One of them is going to be on the exterior of the new weight room, the current pool, and the other one's going to be at the main entrance loop. After going out to bid and getting responses, we were recommending Done Right Signs, who also assisted in the design of the bid pack. After subsequent interviews with them and negotiations on pricing, their fee came in at $24,899.40. I think what else. That's pretty much it as far as bid pack 4 is concerned. Any questions?
Anybody have any questions?
When is the expectation of this to be put in, installed?
So right now for branding and signage, we're looking at typically about 6 to 8 weeks. 1 week to get them onboarded, get submittals in place. Another week for submittals to be received and approved. 2 to 3 weeks for material procurement, another 2 weeks for manufacturing, and then about a week for install. So typically about 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay, sounds good, thank you.
Mr. Craig?
Question. Are we reducing the size of the sign based on their
That's what
their bid recommendation?
We're gonna evaluate that. This is based on what we currently propose, having the sign as designed. But we're gonna get a couple of renderings from that and review them and then approve them if it makes sense. Basically, what they're recommending is saying reduce the size to a 6x10, which is a standard sheet, so that there's no seam in the T. But we'll have further discussions with them and see.
Is this price based on the reduced size?
It's based on the proposed size.
It's based on the proposed
Yes,
size.
as designed, which is, let's see. I want to say it was just over, it was 6 feet, 8 inches. Yeah, so it's based on a 10 feet, 6 inches tall and 8.5 feet wide.
So will we have to renegotiate this with them if we reduce the size?
Price would come down.
Okay. All right.
I believe. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah, we just wanted to get the approval for the package, and then we're moving forward, then we can start looking at it and get the mock-ups, and if that's the way we wanna go, price would come down, but we have the full amount approved first, because we don't wanna go that way.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
So, with the new proposal, if you wanted to go with the original size of the sign, that's still an option? Is that a fair statement?
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
All right, having heard from our partner there, we were seeking approval for the bid pack 4 award.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the Southgate Community Schools Bid Pack 4 Award.
Support.
Do we have to add, pardon me, do we have to add the amount and the contractor on that? Or can we just as presented?
I think as presented,
As
because
presented,
we
all right.
submitted those transparently.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, that motion was by Dr. Pomponio, supported by Mr. Sage. Any further questions? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And that takes us to item 3, approval of the out-of-state conference for CTE administrator who will be presenting. Or is this just a reference to the packet?
So I'm here to ask approval to allow me to travel to the Association for Career and Technical Education conference that is being hosted in New Orleans. This is a 4-day conference to give me a little bit more insight and clarity on running a successful CTE program. I've been selected by DCTC to take this trip. I'm one of 2 people that they selected in the consortium to get this information, this opportunity, because I am the most recent hired director of CTE in our consortium. So I'm looking to gain approval to allow me to.
Anderson, assistant principal, and our CTE director. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Hanson? Mr. Lamas?
Yeah, I would just like to ask when you return, if you don't mind coming and presenting some of the things you learned and understand how it's gonna help us.
Absolutely.
I'd really like that, yeah.
Yep. I'm looking forward to what the information and knowledge I'm going to gain from this trip, so
Yeah,
I would
no,
love to
it
share.
should be good, that's very good.
Just for clarification, the cost of the course is $2,500, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Did I say 25,000?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, yeah.
No, you
Say that's a big trip.
Scratch that, 2,500. Let's not go crazy.
It's 25,000, if it was 25,000, I was going with you.
Yeah, I bet that.
Yeah, go ahead. Dr. Pomponio?
Did you
I just wanna make sure it wasn't 25,000, because if we had that budget, I was going with them.
So it's a hybrid, so is it like offered both ways?
It is offered virtually and it's in person. It was all virtual last year, and they're returning to an in-person option. So DCTC and RISA thought it would be a nice opportunity to experience this in person, how it's supposed to be experienced.
And then, I know that sometimes with the conferences, they have links to information from the materials that you covered. If you can get those, you can email the board, maybe?
Sure.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
I can do that.
All right, thank you. All right, bring the discussion back here to the table. We're seeking approval for the out-of-state conference for CTE for $2,500. Mr. Craig?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the out-of-state conference for CT administrator as presented.
Thank you.
Support.
Supported by Mr. Lamas. All right, motion by Craig, support by Lamas. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Have a good time, learn lots. All right. Number 4, approval of the agreement between the Southgate Community Schools and the Southgate Paraprofessional Employees Association. Go ahead, Ms. Irvine.
Yes, I am pleased to say that we have reached an agreement with the Southgate Community Schools, our Southgate Paraprofessional Employees Association, and that has been presented to you, and so we are looking for approval at this time.
Thank you. Any questions, Dr. Irvine? No? All right. So we will bring that back to the table for, I'm looking for a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the agreement between Southgate Community Schools and the Southgate Paraprofessional Employee Association.
Thank you, Dr. Paponio.
Support.
Supported by Mr. Green. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, back to the table here for discussion. Item K, digital board materials. As you see here in front of you, we've received these laptops. We're trying to go green and do better for our environment. So these laptops have been presented to the board. They'll be used, you'll see them at board meetings so we can follow along the links, hopefully reduce the carbon footprint and eliminate some of the paperwork that you see us up here shuffling around. Board members will have the option to opt out if they choose to. They also may require some paperwork, so that's something that still may happen, but the board, I'm going to refer this back to our board subcommittee policy to kind of review and kind of give us some guidelines of use and what to do upon the exit of a board member, whether they step down or whether they lose an election. So those details will still have to be worked out. But if there's any other discussion regarding that, we can have it now.
So I like the fact that we get the paper as well. I don't know if it's going to continue, but it helps just in case some of us are busy and can't print. But I do like it. I like the option, so I'll use that, but I still need the paper.
Okay. Yeah, Mr. Craig.
So this is something I've kind of been pushing for a while since, you know, there's just too much technology out there to not use it, to be able to not, I mean, because every time after the meeting, all of this goes right in the recycle bin. And, you know, 7 years of this, twice a month, I could fill a recycle bin with what I have thrown away. And it's all right here. And if you guys noticed, in the agendas that get published online now, there's a link to all the items that's in our board packet. You can see all the backup that we get, and that's the whole point of this, is we'll be able to use this this laptop to be able to just follow right along with those links, see everything that's there, and not have to produce the paper that we do on a bi-weekly basis. So I appreciate this move. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Anyone else? Any further? All right. All right, let's go down to employee representatives. Any scheduled to speak tonight? No? Okay. Go to information and announcements, back here to the board. Yep, go ahead, Dr.
I just
Bumponia.
want to say that there's 8th graders who are interested in 9th grade football. There's a freshman 2022-23 football meeting Wednesday, tomorrow, at Anderson's Auditorium at 6:30.
All right, thank you. Any other information or announcements? Mr. Green?
I'd just like to congratulate the Southgate Anderson students. I know they had an awards breakfast a couple weeks ago, and I was unable to attend. So congratulations to all those students. Also, to reiterate what Dr. Irvine said, congratulations to the band for their outstanding performance down at Ford Field.
Yeah, and the Winter Guard.
And the Winter Guard, exactly. Thank you very much.
All right. And with that, we'll take a motion for adjournment.
Mr. President,
Mr. Green?
I make a motion to adjourn. Support?
Supported by, motion by Green, supported by Craig. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. We are closed. It is 7:56.